The wind howled like a banshee outside, rain lashing against the windows like frantic fists. I pulled the tattered curtains shut, trying to shut out the storm's fury, but its icy tendrils seeped through the cracks, chilling me to the bone. It was nights like these I dreaded most, nights when the storm unveiled its most terrifying secret, the weeping woman of Windcliff Ridge. It started subtly, a flicker of movement in the corner of my eye. A fleeting glimpse of white against the storm-racked sky, like a tattered sheet dancing in the wind. Then the keening wail, rising above the storm's roar, a sound that scraped at my soul and sent shivers down my spine. It was the weeping woman. I wasn't the first to see her. The legend had haunted Windcliff Ridge for generations. An apparition, some said, the ghost of a heartbroken bride who leaped to her death from the cliffs overlooking the raging sea. Others whispered of a vengeful spirit, forever mourning a life stolen by the treacherous storms. Whatever she was, the weeping woman terrified me. I'd spent my childhood huddled under my blankets, clutching my teddy bear, pleading with the storm to silence her cries. Now, as an adult, the fear still lingered, a cold knot in my stomach whenever the wind howled and the rain beat down. This storm, however, felt different. The air crackled with an unseen energy, and the weeping woman's wails were more desperate, more raw than ever before. Curiosity, a morbid flame, flickered in me. Could this be the night something changed? The night the legend finally revealed its truth? Against my better judgment, I grabbed my raincoat and a flashlight, the storm's fury a deafening roar as I stepped outside. The wind buffeted me, tearing at my clothes, sending rain stinging into my eyes. I stumbled towards the cliffs, the roar of the waves a counterpoint to the weeping woman's keening. Reaching the edge, I braced myself against the wind, peering into the storm-tossed darkness. Lightning flashed, briefly illuminating the churning sea and the jagged, wind-whipped cliffs. And then I saw her. Standing on a precariously narrow ledge, a white figure barely discernible against the storm's fury. Her hair, long and tangled, whipped around her face like a ghostly veil. Her white dress, tattered and soaked, clung to her slender frame. But it was her eyes that held me captive. They were pools of bottomless sorrow shimmering with an ethereal glow in the flashes of lightning. Her keening rose to a crescendo, a primal cry of anguish that tore at my heart. Then, she did something unexpected. She turned, her gaze meeting mine across the storm-tossed chasm. For a single, heart-stopping moment, our eyes locked. There was no malice in her eyes, no vengeful spirit. Only profound sadness, an ocean of grief that threatened to pull me in. And then, just as quickly as she appeared, she vanished, swept away by the wind like a wisp of smoke. Silence descended, broken only by the retreating rumble of thunder. I stood there, wind whipping my hair, rain soaking my clothes, the echo of her keening still ringing in my ears. What had I just seen? Was it the weeping woman or something else entirely? The answer came to me in a whisper, carried on the dying wind. It wasn't a ghost, not a vengeful spirit. It was a woman, lost and alone, trapped in a cycle of endless sorrow. The storm, her only release, her only way to cry out for help. A strange sense of peace washed over me. The fear was gone, replaced by a deep empathy for this lost soul. Maybe the legend wasn't entirely wrong. Maybe she wasn't a vengeful spirit, but a lonely wanderer, forever seeking solace in the storm's fury. From that night on, the weeping woman no longer terrified me. Instead, she became a symbol of vulnerability, a reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of sorrow. And whenever the storm raged, I would stand by the window, not in fear, but in quiet solidarity with the final tremors of the storm settling. The air hung heavy with an unsettling stillness. The rain had stopped, leaving behind a world dripping and glistening under a bruised sky. The weeping woman was gone, but her haunting melody lingered in the silence, a phantom melody etched into the wind's memory. Driven by a newfound resolve, I decided to unravel the mystery of the weeping woman. Armed with a worn journal passed down through generations filled with whispered tales and cryptic sketches of the windswept figure, I embarked on a quest to uncover her story. My first stop was the village elder, a wizened woman with eyes like pools of ancient storms. She spoke of the legend in hushed tones, her voice cracking with a reverence born of fear and a strange, unsettling nostalgia. Her words painted a picture of a young woman named Ilara, a spirited soul with hair the color of moonlight and eyes like the boundless summer sky. Ilara, the elder narrated, was promised in marriage to a wealthy merchant, a man whose heart was as cold and sterile as the coins he hoarded. On the eve of their wedding, a fierce storm tore through Windcliff Ridge, mirroring the turmoil brewing within Ilara's spirit. Fear of a loveless life, trapped in a gilded cage, consumed her. With the wind howling like a chorus of tormented souls and the sea churning into a tempestuous mass, Ilara made a fateful choice. She fled to the cliffs, the storm a roaring cloak shielding her escape. Reaching the precipice, she looked down at the churning waves, a mirror image of the chaos within her. And then, in a heartbreaking echo of the thunder, she leaped. The legend ended there, swallowed by the sea and the whispers of the wind. But as I delved deeper into the journal, I stumbled upon something more, a faded sketch of a hidden cave carved into the cliffs beneath the Weeping Woman's ledge. Could this be Ilara's final resting place? Could her restless spirit still wander these windswept crags, forever trapped in the storm she embraced? Driven by a morbid curiosity and a newfound empathy for the lost soul, I set out to find the cave. The sun had begun its descent, painting the sky in hues of burnt orange and bruised purple. The wind, though softened, still carried the memory of the storm, whispering secrets through the gnarled branches of ancient trees. The cliff face, slick with rain, loomed before me, a daunting wall of stone adorned with the scars of countless storms. Following the sketch's cryptic directions, I navigated a treacherous path, my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird. Finally, tucked away in a hidden alcove, I found it, the cave. The entrance was dark, an inky maw promising secrets and silence. Armed with my flashlight and a trepidatious spirit, I stepped inside. The air grew colder, heavier, the silence broken only by the drip of rainwater seeping through cracks in the ceiling. The cave was small, its walls bare except for a crude sketch etched onto the back wall. It depicted a woman, her features indistinct, reaching out with slender arms towards a swirling vortex of wind and rain. Below the sketch, an inscription in faded charcoal read, "Lost in the storm, forever seeking solace." A shiver ran down my spine. Was this Ilara's final message? Her plea for understanding, for solace? As I traced the inscription with my fingertips, a gust of wind swept through the cave, extinguishing my flashlight and plunging me into darkness. Suddenly, a faint, ethereal light shimmered in the corner. Slowly, I turned, my breath catching in my throat. There, standing amongst the shadows, was the Weeping Woman. But this wasn't the fierce, windswept apparition I had seen before. This Ilara was a wisp of a woman, her face etched with sorrow, her eyes filled with a profound longing. She wasn't a vengeful spirit, but a lost soul, trapped in a cycle of grief. She raised her hand, beckoning me closer. I hesitated, fear warring with empathy within me. Finally, taking a deep breath, I stepped towards her. The light surrounding her intensified, revealing the details of her face, the sorrow etched into her features, the yearning in her eyes. "Don't fear me," she whispered, her voice a barely audible echo in the silent cave. "I mean you no harm." In that moment, all fear vanished. I saw not a ghost, but a woman robbed of life, forever adrift in the tempest of her own despair. Driven by an inexplicable urge, I reached out, my hand trembling as it met hers. Her touch was cold, ethereal, yet held a faint echo of warmth, a flicker of the life force once pulsating within her. Through this silent touch, a surge of emotions flooded me, Ilara's fear, her loneliness, the agonizing despair that had driven her to the precipice. Images flickered in my mind, the cold, loveless eyes of her betrothed, the churning fury of the storm mirroring the tempest within, the final, heart-wrenching leap into the void. Tears pricked my eyes. This wasn't just a ghost story, it was a tragedy, a tale of a soul robbed of its chance to blossom. A desperate need rose within me, a need to offer Ilara what she had craved for eternity, solace, understanding, and perhaps even forgiveness. "Ilara," I whispered, my voice thick with emotion, "it's okay. You're not alone. Your story was lost to the wind, but I hear you now. And I understand." As I spoke, the ethereal light surrounding Ilara intensified, swirling around her like a luminous chrysalis. Her sorrow-etched face softened, a flicker of relief replacing the years of anguish. Then, with a sigh that sounded like the wind carrying away winter's chill, she began to fade. Her touch grew fainter, her form losing its ghostly edges, merging with the light, becoming one with the cave's essence. Panic surged within me. Was this the end? Was Ilara just slipping away once more, lost to the storm's embrace? But then something miraculous happened. As Ilara merged with the light, the sketch on the cave wall shifted, coming alive. The swirling vortex transformed into a vibrant sunset, casting long, golden fingers across the cave's floor. Ilara reappeared, not as a spectral figure, but as a young woman, her hair swirling silver in the sunset glow, her eyes reflecting the sky's boundless freedom. She smiled, a radiant burst of sunlight, and spoke, her voice like the wind chimes whispering secrets on a summer day. "Thank you," she said, her voice echoing through the cave. "You set me free from the storm. Now I can finally rest." With that, Ilara took a step forward, and the shimmering light engulfed her whole. It wasn't the darkness of oblivion, but the warm radiance of a gentle sunrise. As I stood there bathed in that ethereal glow, I felt a profound peace settle over me. Ilara was gone, not lost, but transformed. The Weeping Woman of Windcliff Ridge was no more. In her place, the cave now held a story not of sorrow but of redemption, a testament to the enduring power of empathy and understanding. The story didn't end there. The following morning, the storm-ravaged village awoke to a wondrous sight. The cliffs, once barren and windswept, were now adorned with a swathe of wildflowers, blooming in a riot of colors, bathing the land in a breathtaking tapestry of life. It was as if Elara, in her final act of peace, had breathed life back into the land she had once left in despair. From that day on, the legend of the Weeping Woman changed. No longer a harbinger of fear, she became a symbol of hope, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, there is always the possibility of light, of finding solace in understanding and letting go. And whenever the wind whistled through the cliffs, carrying the scent of wildflowers, I knew it wasn't just the breeze, but Elara's whisper of gratitude, echoing in the land she finally called home. The transformation of the Windcliff Ridge and the shift in the legend sparked within me a newfound connection to this place, its past, and its whispers carried on the wind. I became a custodian of sorts, a guardian of Elara's story and the magic it whispered. News of the blooming cliff spread like wildfire, drawing curious visitors from neighboring villages and beyond. Some came seeking the beauty, others yearning for a glimpse of the legendary Weeping Woman, now transformed into a benevolent spirit. One day, a woman named Luna arrived, her eyes shimmering with the same ethereal light I'd seen in Elara. She carried a worn journal, its pages filled with Elara's sketches and cryptic notes, the very same one I'd studied. Luna explained she was Elara's descendant, the keeper of her family's whispers, drawn to the ridge by an inexplicable pull. Together, we delved deeper into Elara's story, deciphering her notes and sketches, uncovering secret paths and hidden caves that sang with an ancient energy. We found remnants of Elara's life before the storm, her unfinished paintings, her cherished poems, her yearning for a love that transcended societal expectations. We also discovered fragments of forgotten lore, tales of wind spirits and guardians of the cliffs, beings who embodied the very essence of freedom and resilience. It dawned on us, Elara might not have simply been a lost soul, but a chosen one, destined to become a guardian of Windcliff Ridge, her sorrow a powerful catalyst for renewal. But this awakening wasn't without challenges. Shadows stretched from the past. Descendants of Elara's betrothed, consumed by greed and envy, sought to exploit the ridge's newfound magic for their own gain. They built crude shrines, sought to manipulate the winds, and attempted to summon Elara's spirit for their own nefarious purposes. Luna and I, along with a growing circle of villagers who had accepted Elara's story and its message, formed a silent guardian force. We protected the sacred caves, dispelled harmful rituals, and reminded everyone of the true essence of the ridge, a place of freedom, not exploitation, a whisper of wind carrying a song of resilience, not a tool for greed. Years passed, marked by the changing seasons and the constant whisper of the wind. We became beacons of hope, protectors of Elara's legacy, and conduits for the ridge's magic. We fostered creativity, encouraged harmony with nature, and nurtured the legend's shift from fear to understanding. The blooming cliffs became a pilgrimage site, a testament to Elara's transformation and the power of letting go. People came not just to marvel at the beauty, but to seek solace, understanding, and a connection to something bigger than themselves. And sometimes, on windswept nights, when the moon cast an ethereal glow on the ridge, I'd swear I saw a flicker of silver hair, a gentle smile amidst the swirling mist. It was Elara, I knew, a guardian finally at peace, forever woven into the tapestry of Windcliff Ridge, her story a whisper on the wind, a reminder that even in the darkest storms, light can bloom. And I, the one who once cowered in fear, now stood tall, a custodian of her legacy, forever shaped by the weeping woman who became a radiant spirit, forever carrying her song in my heart. The story of the Weeping Woman wasn't just a legend. It was a living legacy, a testament to the transformative power of empathy, forgiveness, and the healing wind that whispers through the